So we got news that Alex Anzalone, one of the standout linebackers for the Lions, fractured his forearm. Luckily, linebackers are our deepest position, but it's most likely that he fractured the radius there. You have the ulna on the other side. Those two bones comprise the forearm. The radius is more commonly injured because it's responsible for about 80% of the weight bearing. In addition, it's less fixed than the ulna, so its increased mobility puts it at greater risk. And also you can see down there, when you impact your outstretched hand on that thumb portion, it's going to directly cause shock to go through that radius. Typically, it's a non-operative issue, and the average recovery time is about 6 to 8 weeks, which is the timeline they confirm for Anzalone. I would put him on the 6-week mark because he's not responsible for catching or throwing. And when you look at the records of NFL players who have had a fractured radius over the past 8 years, 10 years, so you got Brady. That's not really a good example because it was almost 15 years ago and he's a quarterback, so obviously they're going to need to protect him a little bit longer, make sure the fracture is significantly healed. He missed about 12 weeks, but then you have Godwin and AJ Green, and they both missed 6 weeks or under 6 weeks, which makes me pretty optimistic that Anzalone should be back for the end of the regular season and the start of our playoff push. We also got some really good news back about Aidan Hutchinson. We saw him running in the water treadmill. So the reason why they run in the treadmill underwater is because it helps them reduce the weight-bearing load that they can have. So the fact that he's already doing that is really encouraging, and it does put him on track to possibly be back for the Super Bowl when the Lions are definitely there. It's going to be, a long track for him, and I don't expect him to be full strength by any means, but he'll be a great emotional contributor and should be good for a couple plays as well. So we'll see what happens. And then I did hear the questions about my eye, and what happened here is you can see it's a really localized conjunctival injection. It's not spread throughout the eye. There's not any kind of significant discharge that's coming out of it. It's not painful at all, and it just kind of appeared suddenly. And when that happens, and you can see it doesn't cross over into the iris, it's very restricted to the white part of my eye, and that means that it's a subconjunctival hemorrhage. It's not a conjunctivitis, which is an infection, and there's two different kinds of conjunctivitis. There's a bacterial and viral. Viral is more commonly the watery kind of discharge along with redness throughout both eyes, and a bacterial conjunctivitis is that insanely red one-sided eye with kind of that gross green yellow mucus discharge, and the mucus discharge persists throughout the day, whereas the viral one is really bad overnight and it improves throughout the day. So that's kind of how you know the difference between all of these. Subconjunctival hemorrhages, although they look kind of scary and it looks like there's an injury, it's just one ruptured blood vessel, and it typically might feel a little bit sore, but there shouldn't be any significant pain, and then it resolves over the course of a couple days. So it's already a little bit better than it was yesterday. Appreciate all you reaching out, and I appreciate the jokes that were made too. Some of those were hilarious, but should be good. And if it doesn't, I'll let you know.